Hi, everybody. Welcome to the 4 to 5. You have the whole lineup today. I'm Eric Chilton. This is Chad Silver, Monique Robinson, Lauren Coleman. We're all here and accounted for.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching us on WFNY News 2 Fire Stick, Roku, and the WFNY News 2 app. And if you're watching on Facebook, give us a shout in the comments. Let us know that you're here.
I was just saying how I'm going to get on Facebook as soon as we get done with this first segment. So come say hello. In the meantime, one of the big stories today, a glimmer of hope in gas prices. The Greensboro average is $4.57. It's a small decline compared to this time last week. Unfortunately, it probably won't last. Experts say another decrease is expected before the 4th of July weekend, but they predict it'll go up again.
Right now, gas prices are around $5 a gallon across the country.
Now, some members of Congress are calling for a national gas tax holiday to offer some relief. President Biden says he will make a decision by the end of the week.
President Biden wants to do anything he possibly can to help consumers. Gas prices have risen a great deal, and it's clearly burdening households. So he stands ready to work with Congress, and that's an idea that's certainly worth considering.
Across the U.S., some state leaders have suspended gas taxes to offer relief at the pump. There has been some talk about doing something similar here in North Carolina, but state officials don't recommend it. Governor Cooper released a statement back in May saying he's not open to a gas tax suspension right now. He says, quote, with any tax cut, we would need to make sure the savings are actually passed on to consumers at the pump and not just added to the bottom line at the oil and gas companies. While a gas tax suspension looks to be off the table in our state, lawmakers are still working on ways to offset pain at the pump. Democrats proposed a $200 tax rebate for North Carolina drivers. Anyone 18 and older who has a valid driver's license would get the money. Republican leaders in the General Assembly are also looking at tax relief. They say they'll consider rebates but prefer more permanent tax reductions. Remember, you can find the lowest gas prices in the Triad on WFNYnews2.com. Just click the gas prices tab under weather. Right now, the lowest is at the Shell on Mebane Oaks Road in Mebane. The price there is $4.39 a gallon.
Airline problems are also putting a damper on travel right now. Over the weekend, airlines delayed or canceled more than 19,000 flights. They blamed severe weather and staffing shortages. FlightAware.com says Delta got hit the hardest. In a statement, the company said, canceling a flight is always our last resort, and we sincerely apologize to our customers for the inconvenience to their travel plan. Now, despite rising demand with summer approaching, many airlines say they don't have the capacity to add more flights to their schedule. Travel agents say spending the extra cash on travel insurance might be the best move to stay prepared.
It's difficult to plan ahead when we don't know what's going on and what's going to happen. I am telling my agents as well as my customers that I think we need to go ahead and make our reservations, go forward with what we were planning to do, and we need to try to adapt to the new rules and the new regulations going forward.
If you don't want travel insurance, experts say you should consider buying tickets with a full refund option. I do not get travel insurance.
I don't either.
You might want to change your mind because also we're still in a pandemic with COVID. If you're overseas and you happen to get sick and you can't come back, that's thousands and thousands of dollars you might have to pay.
And see, I think when I think about travel insurance and flights, after the pandemic, so many airlines got rid of change fees or cancellation fees. So I just know that I can cancel my flights and not get penalized for it, but then you bring up a good point, something like that, not prepared for.
That's extenuating circumstances. I have never purchased travel insurance. I think my wife did once for a cruise for us because there were so many of us going, but that's the only time we've ever done it. It's not a habit for me.
I think that this pandemic just has us thinking differently, or some people might have not even been aware that travel insurance was a thing or what all that it covered, but there's different levels to it. So I would say consider it, talk to your travel agent about it. You know, it's a pretty good investment.
Smart to do these days.
Do you always do it?
Actually, no. I'm actually going out of the country in October. I'm going to Mexico, and I definitely got it because my travel agent suggested, just with everything that's going on. And then just looking more into it with some of the stories we've done, people having to pay so much money because they had to quarantine for 2 weeks in another country. And then the rules keep changing for different countries. I mean, I know like if you're domestic, maybe you might not need it, but I don't see how it hurts either.
Well, and I was talking with someone just today whose their flight got canceled recently, and then it took them like another day and a half to finally make it back home. And they said that, and it was Delta, I believe, is who they flew, and they said that they were going to have to wait like 6 to 8 weeks to get their refund. And I didn't know why that is too, but maybe if you have that insurance, it's a quicker process. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just tough times lately. I've known so many people whose flights have been canceled or delayed. So if you have to be back at work or something, you probably want to book it a couple days in advance and not try to fly in the day of, because it could get canceled.
It's crazy.
All right, let's get to some of your headlines with your 4 to 5 roundup. Right now, Governor Roy Cooper is working from home after testing positive for COVID-19. Officials say he had mild symptoms and is taking the Paxlovid COVID pill. Cooper released a statement saying he's feeling fine and is thankful for vaccinations and boosters. He will work from home this week and follow CDC isolation guidelines. The CDC's new community COVID transmission map shows Guilford County is in the red. It's one of 7 Triad counties currently in the category, including Forsyth. The CDC recommends people living in counties with a level of transmission wear masks indoors in public and on public transportation. Officials also recommend staying up to date with vaccinations and taking additional precautions if necessary.
Vaccines for children under 5 are heading to hospitals and pharmacies across the country. The state says it's ordered more than 100,000 doses of Pfizer and Moderna's vaccines. They'll be available at every health department and more than 300 pediatricians' offices. Get more information on myspot.nc.gov. Summer meals at Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools started today. In-school locations are open Monday through Friday. Students can also pick up breakfast and lunch at mobile locations. We put information for meal programs at every local district on WFMYnews2.com.
Well, it's still pretty hot outside, Monique, but I will say it feels slightly cooler than it did Thursday and Friday of last week.
Oh, this week is starting off much different than the way we ended last week. This weekend was so nice, and even now we're feeling these very nice temperatures. 81 is the current temperature in Burlington. That sun shining, but peeking through a mist of a lot of clouds. We've been dealing with the clouds all day long, and that's what's been limiting how warm we've gotten in Greensboro. You can see through the start of the day, we rode up to the 70s, and then we barely got out of them, and we're sticking at 79 as of 3 p.m. and dropping back to 77 as of 4 p.m. It's been a very cool day in Greensboro, but it's summertime and the heat is certainly on, and we're expecting more of that heat to return as we continue through this upcoming week. So we're talking hot temperatures in the forecast, not feeling them today, and like I said, that's due to those clouds. This is a time lapse of the clouds with over the last 6 hours, and you can see the white that you're seeing on your image here are those clouds that pushed in from the north, and that acted like a blanket, and it didn't allow that sun to really bake us like we usually expect in the summertime. So we're feeling these cooler temperatures, but the warm weather is on the way. The clouds sticking with us as we end the day, and then as we go overnight, we're going to be dropping down to about some low 60s starting out your Tuesday around there, and then as we go through the afternoon, we're getting back into those upper 80s, low 90s for your Tuesday with some clouds here and there, but for the most part, it should be a dry day. Wednesday, though, that is the hottest day of the forecast. We're talking another scorcher. Now, Wednesday will feel like what we had last week, where we had those temperatures in the 90s, the humidity building back, and then the chance of an afternoon storm. And then that forecast kind of continues. We're talking heat, humidity, and afternoon storms continuing through this upcoming weekend. So Wednesday being the hottest day of the forecast, and then after that, we're just getting very early summer-like weather. Temperatures in the upper 80s and storms possible. So make sure you have that WFMY News 2 app downloaded so you're always weather aware.
A company in California believes the future of solar energy is clear. You've seen solar panels on the roof, but what about installing them into your window? Well, it's now an option.
At the headquarters of Ubiquitous Energy near San Francisco, the familiar black solar panels on the roof are pretty obvious. But the lights in the company conference room are being powered by the windows, which are also acting as solar collectors.
And so that's kind of the problem we sought out to solve with our technology is how can you make a solar technology that's completely invisible, and by making it invisible, now we can apply it to many more surfaces.
Co-founder Miles Barr says his company has invented an invisible coating using photosensitive dyes that capture energy from only the non-visible infrared and ultraviolet spectrums, turning windows into see-through solar panels.
So you can use the full surface, the full vertical surface of a glass skyscraper to generate electricity that can be used by the building.
Other companies are working on similar technology. Next Energy just released a prototype window with a transparent coating that can harness solar energy. Ubiquitous already has its windows on several buildings, and the company is now gearing up for full-scale production in 2024.
We're talking about you're buying a window, and now do you want to pay a little bit more so that your window produces electricity as well?
Ubiquitous CEO Susan Stone says there may be more uses down the road. Theoretically, the same coating could be applied to any hard or painted surface, allowing electronic devices and even parked cars to charge themselves. If builders start using the windows, the energy possibilities could be staggering. Every year, more than 20 billion square feet of window glass is installed around the world, enough to circle the Earth 100 times.
Rising temperatures can drive up your energy bills, so Duke Energy is offering customers ways to save. They recommend changing air filters regularly because dirty ones make your AC system work harder than it needs to. Also, make sure unnecessary lights are turned off and air leaks by doors and windows are sealed. Customers can also contact Duke Energy to set up budget alerts ahead of really hot days. The company can use a smart meter to track your usage and let you know when it's expected to go up. So guys, I do not like the heat. I set my temperature at 68 degrees during the summer, and I know that that's pretty low, and I have it like that even when I'm not at home, so when I come back in, it's still pretty cool.
I'm like that.
Okay.
I like it cold in the
Okay.
house, but we keep it at 70.
73,
No,
or-
we keep it at 70, but
Okay.
I'd probably do 68. It's funny because, you know, my wife, she's always complaining about being cold. And so if I ever bump it down, she'll bump it back up. I mean, that's an age-old guy-girl thing that's been going on forever.
I was
but-
going to ask you about that. Do you guys are in a competition? Because my dad is always cold, and my mom gets pretty hot, and they would go back and forth and bicker about the temperature. Like, that's a real thing.
We had to come to a negotiation, which was 70 degrees, so that's like comfortable. But it is funny how sometimes with, I don't know, it's just my house, but some rooms are really cold and others aren't, and we can't figure out why. Like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I shut mine off when I'm not there. So whether it's in the winter or the summer, I just shut it off when I'm not home. And then when I come home, I set it to 70 for
Okay.
awake temperatures and then 68 for sleeping.
So when you shut it off completely and it's been a super hot day, how does it feel when you come inside? Does it
That's
feel
what I was
muggy
gonna
or
ask.
stuffy? Because
Not
that's what
bad.
I'm worried about. I
Right.
mean, I know that you're probably saving energy doing
Right.
that, but how does it feel when you come back inside?
It's really not bad. Sometimes it's up to like 73 degrees, so really that's not that warm. It all probably depends on the angle of my place and where the sun comes in and where the sun doesn't come in, so I imagine
You
it's
close
different for
blinds?
everybody. Yep.
You do? Okay, yeah.
I
so-
might have to try that out because I just
See,
love how cold it feels when I come inside.
I've just
I
always
can't do the heat.
been told that if you do that, it takes more energy to get it back. But
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true or
And
not.
I think mine is very quickly cooled. I mean, it takes probably less than 30 minutes to bring
Oh,
it
wow.
from 73 down to 70.
And we're also talking about an apartment building rather
Right.
than a house. So it's not going to take us long, I guess, to
Right.
to make it cool.
I'd sit there and sweat it out if I had to do that. I can't stand to be hot.
Me neither.
I don't
Have you
like
ever
it.
been in a situation where your AC broke?
Yes.
And then they couldn't get there for a couple days? I remember when I was younger that happened to us, and we just all slept on the middle floor and just had the screen door open in the back, and that was all that we could really do.
Turn on those overhead fans.
Yeah.
Right,
Have that
yes,
hot air
uh-huh.
swirling around.
Horrible. All right, we're coming back. Stay right there.
The Facebook comment issues. I can see them.
I cannot.
I can
so
see the
on
comments.
yours,
Oh. So do we not
Perfect.
really have 56 people?
59 is what it shows on mine.
She said we might have more.
one thing that I have come to realize is that when I watch it on my phone, I only see comments from people I'm friends with.
Oh, that's a setting, I'll bet.
Oh, they're rescheduling picture day
What?
to the 29th.
Oh, that actually helps me
Me
tremendously.
too, because I want to get my hair done.
Hey, Facebook people, how
Hi,
you
Facebook,
doing?
you listening to
Hi,
us.
Facebook.
Hey,
Hey,
we're talking-
we're supposed to have picture day tomorrow, but now it's rescheduled.
Picture day,
And I
picture
can get it
day.
professionally done instead of trying to do it myself.
Oh, yeah. How is everybody on Facebook today? I'm sorry, I cannot see your comments, and I don't know why. So
Hey,
just
Facebook.
send a smoke signal or
Wait.
something.
You
Let me
can
see
say
if
hi to
closed
them
captioning
here.
is- Oh, yeah, I wanted to see
Oh,
what
right.
we said.
Did y'all have a good weekend?
I did. I went to the Hoppers
did.
game. It was so fun. It was a doubleheader on Saturday, and it was so hot. But near the end of the game, it was cool and breezy, and we won.
Nice.
I did nothing Saturday, and then Sunday for Father's Day, we went to the pool. So we hung out there with some other families. That was fun.
Nice.
Wedding?
I officiated my
Oh,
ninth
yeah.
wedding on
How'd that go?
Saturday. That was great. If you've never been to a wedding at Revolution Mill, I would suggest getting invited to one. I don't know how that works.
You can
but-
just wedding.
Alrighty then, I like to share with you my weather notes to help you better understand what you need to know this week. So we're kicking off summer tomorrow, feeling just like it should. Summer-like heat is in store for the Triad tomorrow and sticking with us for your Wednesday. Now it's going to be hot on Wednesday with storms possible in the afternoon, and we sort of get a copy and paste of that on Thursday. So once again, it's going to be hot and humid with the chance of afternoon storms on your Thursday as well. Now Friday is looking drier and slightly cooler, and we're going to have that sun return. And that's all due to the fact that a cold front will cross Thursday, and that will briefly allow for a drop in temperatures and a little bit more sunshine for your Friday. So tomorrow, those temperatures in the upper 80s, near 90s. We've had a nice stretch of break in warm temperatures over the weekend. Saturday, beautiful. Sunday for Father's Day, a great day. And today, there's really no complaints. But as we go through the next couple of days, everyone is going to talk about the heat once again. Just like last week, that heat conversation is definitely going to be the talk of the town. Now, I talked about storm chances, the first round of them Wednesday. We haven't seen rain since Friday, so we get rain chances possible Wednesday. That doesn't mean everyone will see rain. So Wednesday and then Thursday, again Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. We're kind of stuck in this routine pattern after Wednesday where it's we're in the upper 80s, low 90s, and then we just got to keep an eye on the radar each and every afternoon. So here you look, those temperatures, like I said, in those upper 80s, low 90s for you, and Wednesday being the hottest of the 7 days. So 93 is what the forecast is now. We'll see if that verifies, and we'll continue to keep you updated if there's any upgrades to severe weather potential with any of the storm chances that we're seeing. Now tomorrow is the summer solstice. It is June 21st. The official time of that is going to be at 5:14 a.m. And so as we move through this continuing to look at the summer solstice, I'm going to try to switch my clicker here. Let's see. All right, there we go. We have 4 astronomical seasons. We have winter. That is the winter solstice. That is on December 21st. Then we have the winter equinox. Then we have the spring solstice. And then we continue to go through these next several seasons. So we have March 20th, and then we have summer, and then we have fall. And each of those dates for 2022 are listed there. Throughout the year, each time there's shifts shifted just slightly. But here to take a look at the details of the summer solstice specifically. And I got that confused. We're talking summer solstice and we have winter solstice. Spring and autumn are the equinox. That's when the earth is equally getting the sun rays from the sun to the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. During the summer solstice, the earth is tilted a little bit further north and we see more sunlight to the northern hemisphere. That's where we're located. In the winter, it's the opposite. The southern hemisphere gets more sunshine than we do. So when we have the summer solstice, we have the longest days, we have the most sunshine, and we actually, if you were all the way at the North Pole, you would get 24 hours of light and you would have 24 hours of darkness at the South Pole. And the earth wobbles a little bit. It's not an exact tilt. It wobbles roughly to around 23.5 degrees. So that tilt, it looks a little dramatic on this image, but it's a little about 23 degrees. So we're not talking a significant tilt, but we can see that throughout the summer, we're going to start to see that water temperature increase. That water temperature in our ocean basins is going to increase, and that's what helps for hurricane season to really get kick-started. As that ocean water heats up, that's a perfect ingredient for hurricanes to develop. And so that's why we start to transition into the peak of hurricane season as we move through the months of August and approach September, when the water is very, very hot and we start to see those hurricane season continue to develop. So as of now, things are quiet in the tropics, but as we transition through the summer, things could change.
So Monique, does that mean that tomorrow is the longest day of the year?
So officially, yes. Officially, yes. But when I say, the reason why I'm clarifying that is because when people walk outside, there's really not going to be too much of a difference, especially when we have the cloud cover and such like that. You won't really get to notice it, but officially on the timestamp from sunlight to nighttime, yes.
It's always fascinating to me, the like what happens on the North and the South Pole. I don't think I could be able to do 24 hours of sunlight or 24 hours of darkness.
Have you ever ventured to Alaska?
Never.
Me neither. And I've been curious to see what it would be like to experience that much darkness.
All right, let's plan a trip. We'll be right back.
Today, Coach Lamont hopes to change your perspective on failure. Listen as he explains why falling short of your goals isn't the end of the world.
I used to tell people that there was no such thing as failure. I used to think that winning was the only thing that mattered. I was wrong. Failure is just as important as winning. See, winning creates a path. Failure, it creates a lesson. You will never win unless you are willing to fail. Failure is not an enemy. Failure is a necessity. If you never fail, you will never understand the price of winning. What has happened to many of us is that we consider failure to become our death sentence. Society has taught us that those who fail are not worthy of the prize. I'm here to tell you, forget what society has said. Failure is a part of the process and the plan. So when you fail, and you may, fail forward. This is Coach Lamont. Make today your best you day. I'll see you tomorrow.
Hey, Matt, can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. You sound great. I'm about to pin your picture. I just want to make sure I get the pronunciation of your last name correct. Is it Hembry?
That is correct, yeah.
Hembry. Okay, awesome. Keanu. Okay, so your hit time is 4:39.
Okay.
Okay, we'll talk to you back at 4:39 before we take the actual interview.
Okay.
All right, bye. See you soon.
See you soon.
Mike, Jake, Jalen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm at.
Welcome to your 4 to 5. Happy Monday. Is that possible to say Happy Monday?
Yes.
Some people do not believe
Yep.
that's possible. Yes. I'm Eric. That's Chad, Monique, and Lauren.
Hey, everybody.
And we are so happy that you have joined us today on TV, the News 2 app, Fire Stick, Roku, and on Facebook. We're having some trouble with the comment section, but we're there, and we hope that you are as well.
Yeah, we'll chat with you during the breaks, but for now, let's talk about a topic on the minds of millions, those rising inflation costs.
Not only is a recession not inevitable, but I think that a lot of people are underestimating those strengths and the resilience of the American economy.
Economic advisor Brian Dees says lowering costs can avoid a recession.
But former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers says he doubts those economic strengths will be enough.
The dominant probability would be that by the end of next year, we would be seeing a recession in the American economy.
We're taking a closer look and digging into the state of the economy. At 5:45, we answer your biggest questions. How likely is a recession? What can you do now to prepare? And is it time to pull money from your 401k? All that coming up and dig into it. While folks on Capitol Hill work to stop bleeding inflation costs, everyday people are feeling the pain. Right now, One Triad Pantry is in need of more fresh food options. WFMY News 2's Jalen Gilkey spoke with Out of the Garden Food Pantry about the lengths they've had to take to fight hunger in the Triad.
Well, since the coronavirus pandemic began in 2020, the number of families helped by Out of the Garden project has increased. And as the demand remained these last 2 years, both monetary and fresh food donations have decreased significantly. So now, Out of the Garden has taken a new approach, hoping to get local farmers involved in their mission.
During the pandemic of 2020, we received 6.5 million pounds of food donated that year. This year, we hope it will be between 1 million and 2 million pounds, but it's drastically down. Now, the number of people we're serving is still high.
Although monetary donations are always welcome at Out of the Garden project, the need for fresh produce and meat is even higher.
We have a good 40% drop in the amount of donations from a year ago. And so we have reached out to farmers. If you're a farmer who does vegetables, think of donating to us. It is an unfortunate situation, but we have had to buy more food already this year than we bought all of last year.
Whether you're a farmer with thousands of acres or just a recreational gardener who has a bit of extra produce that isn't being used, Don and his team are there with open arms.
If you have a garden and can't use all the vegetables that you produce, drop it by Out of the Garden project. We will take any fresh produce.
If you have any questions about how you can help, I'll attach all of Out of the Garden's contact information on this web story on WFMYnews2.com.
This is definitely the time to give back if you can. There's a lot of people that are struggling to get food. I know it's a struggle for everyone these days with rising prices, but I'm sure there's just a little bit we can dig deep to give back.
I would have never thought about just anybody that has a garden that has some, because there's probably more of that available than anything else, and that would be so easy for someone who has some tomato plants, you know, and just, okay, we'll give some of that in. That's a great thing.
And I mean, that can go a long way. I mean, do you grow anything?
We did, actually, Tyler, my youngest son, got into it a couple years ago, so he does cabbage, and we've done tomatoes, but not on the regular.
I wish I had like a plot of land where I could just, set up a garden and just donate everything, because it's so cheap to start a garden. I've never started one, but my dad, his garden is probably the size of this studio.
Oh, really?
Wow. And he just grows all sorts of things. And it's pretty cheap. I mean, the seeds are not expensive. You just have to make sure you water it. And
my grandparents, they have a lot of land and they grow like butter beans and snap peas and watermelons and collards and all types of stuff. They're getting a little, seasoned now, so they're not out in the garden as much, but they grow a lot of stuff and they would give them to family members and relatives and neighbors, people from the church. So it is an easy way to give back.
I even know there's a family, they're kind of out in Guilford County, but friends of ours, and they have chickens, and they are forever giving the eggs out to everybody and anybody, so this will be a good thing for them to do.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of understanding your neighbor's struggles, a sanitary product shortage is making it difficult for women to find what they need. A Greensboro nonprofit is doing its part to help by making hygiene products easy to find for middle and high school girls in Guilford County. The I Am a Queen organization is collecting sanitary napkins, wipes, and hand sanitizer to distribute to local schools. The teen-led initiative has a goal of distributing 2,800 kits this summer and held a drop-off event in early June where they were able to assemble 2,200 kits. Now, their next drop-off event is this Friday, June 24th at the Windsor Recreation Center in Greensboro.
All right, time now for your 4 to 5 roundup. First up today, a man in Winston-Salem is recovering from critical injuries after someone shot him in the back while at a gathering. Police say they found David Morales Noyola in a car just after midnight. Investigators haven't said anything about a suspect. Call Crime Stoppers if you know who might be responsible. The latest COVID spread map shows Guilford County is now in the red, the highest category. It's one of 7 Triad counties in the red, including Forsyth. The CDC is recommending wearing masks when in public and staying up to date on vaccinations. Vaccines for children under 5 are heading to hospitals and pharmacies across the country. The state says it's ordered more than 100,000 doses of Pfizer and Moderna's vaccines. They'll be available at every health department and more than 300 pediatricians' offices. Get more information on myspot.nc.gov.
Right now, more than 30% of youth in foster care in our area identify as LGBTQ+. Organizations like Alexander and the Guilford Green Foundation have found many of these youth are choosing homelessness because they don't feel safe in their own homes.
Housing instability is an issue related to gender identity and gender expression and sexual orientation, because in the South, unfortunately, many families are still, LGBTQ youth still regularly get kicked out of their homes because of their identity as an LGBTQ person.
Guilford Green and Alexander recently launched their pilot program called Therapeutic Foster Care. It's their effort to provide LGBTQ+ youth with foster homes that are safe and gender affirming. They're doing it by offering specialized training for adults interested in fostering.
Each family will be assigned a worker and a coach. You will meet with your coach. You should be meeting with your coach monthly. They will check in with the youth, they will check in with the foster parent, and that coach will be your bridge between someone like myself, the program manager, and DSS. Will all work as a cohesive team.
The Alexander Youth Network is holding an info session tonight. LGBTQ+ youth will speak on their experiences, and Alexander staff will be available to answer any questions. This meeting begins at 6 at Guilford Green.
When it comes to the weather, Monique, I would say that we have been very lucky the past few days. It's nice to see it continue today.
Yes, we've been very lucky because take a look at the central part of the U.S. They're feeling the heat that we felt last week. 92 in Oklahoma City, 98 in Dallas, 91 in Kansas City. But here in the Triad, we're sitting at 77. Now, this is well below the average for this time of year. Guys, it's June. We should be in the upper 80s. We are not, and I'll take it, but tomorrow we're going to get back there. Our satellite radar is also very quiet, also making us another lucky location, as we're not seeing too much other than some clouds that have moved in across our area. Some rain is extending a little bit further north across Ohio and Pennsylvania and portions there of New York. And then if we look further west, you can see those yellow polygons around South Dakota area, and that is some severe thunderstorm warning. So we're not seeing that here, but things are much different. Tonight, temperatures falling down to the low 60s. Tomorrow, we're back in the upper 80s, so partly sunny skies and warmer. Those winds will be light, which will be good, but it's going to be a very warm day. So this is all due to this high pressure. It's been sticking with us all weekend long, and as we go through the start of the week, it will shift its location. As its location moves, we're going to get these winds out of the southwest. That will help to warm us up as we approach the midweek. And I talked about the rain chances across the area. Those don't start to come back into play until about Wednesday. So Monday and Tuesday, we're staying dry, not until Wednesday afternoon. In the evening, we get that possibility. And once again, Thursday evening, we get a chance of rain. So Friday is just about the same. Another chance of rain and storms on your Friday afternoon. So early as Wednesday, we could see rain, and then we get this copy and paste forecast, giving very summer-like weather all the way through the weekend and start to next week.
Hi, Matt. Hey, Matt, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, awesome. Okay, we're 2 minutes out, and I'm going to ask you the 3 questions that I sent you earlier today.
Okay.
Anything else you wanted to add or any questions you had about those?
No, those are clear. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Today, we honor the millions of refugees around the world. Oftentimes, families are escaping conflict or persecution, and leaders encourage others to have empathy and understand the resilience it takes to rebuild their lives. To help dive deeper into World Refugee Day and relief efforts in our community, we're joined by Matt Hembry with Lutheran Services Carolinas. Good afternoon, Matt. My first question to you is, why is World Refugee Day so important?
Thanks for having me, Lauren. World Refugee Day shines a light on the rights, needs, and dreams of refugees, helping to mobilize political will and resources so refugees can not only survive but thrive. It's important to note that refugees are fleeing conflict or persecution, so they're just coming here for help.
So you all have taken in refugees from Ukraine and Afghanistan. Can you touch on the differences between those two experiences?
Absolutely. So there was a mass evacuation of Afghanistan, so a tremendous amount of people from Afghanistan came at once of our Afghan allies. LSC resettled 700 Afghans in 90 days, which is more than we take in altogether as an organization, usually in a year. But right now, Ukrainians are finding their own way here. The government doesn't have a particular program for that like they did with the mass evacuation of Afghanistan, but we are serving the Ukrainians that we are finding in our communities and helping them, connect them with education and job opportunities.
That's some amazing work that you all are doing here. Lastly, Matt, for those viewers at home that are watching this that want to help out your organization and efforts, what can they do to get involved?
Absolutely. Our work is, volunteers are essential to our success. And so if you're interested in volunteering in any way, you can go to LS as in Sam Carolinas.net and find all kinds of information about volunteer opportunities.
Thank you so much, Matt, for your time. If you'd like to go back and see this interview, we'll have it posted online right after our 4 to 5.
A Greensboro woman is rejoicing now that her family is no longer in Ukraine. For months, Dasha Chub worked to bring her father, grandfather, and sister here. It finally happened with the help of a government program called Uniting for Ukraine. It allows Ukrainians fleeing the Russian invasion to stay in the U.S. for 2 years with someone who can provide them financial support.
It's been wonderful. A lot of people have been able to reunite with their families and their friends because of this program. It was just amazing. My sister has never been here in the United States, so for her to see where I live, where my family lives, it's just wonderful.
Dasha says some of her family, like her nephew and her brother-in-law, are still not allowed to leave Ukraine because of martial law. You know, I try to put myself in the shoes of a refugee just to kind of see what it would be like for them. I just can't even imagine having something so terrible in your country happen that you have to flee the country, go to another country, oftentimes to a country that you don't speak their language, you might not know anybody, and just kind of like, try to.
You got to start a whole new life for yourself, find a job, get enrolled into the school system. Not only that, it makes me think about all the different refugees around the world. You know, we talk about Ukraine, we talk about Afghanistan, because that's what we see a lot in the headlines. But there's roughly about 90 million refugees around the world, Somalia, Haiti, Sudan. There's so many different places, and I think that we have to remember to shed light on those places as well and help out there if we can too, not just the ones that we might see, you know, in our headlines on the news every day.
And just as a parent, I think of what you said, Chad, and the first thing I think of is it's harder for kids, you know. I mean, the adults can figure it out, but for kids, that's just life-changing. I mean, even if, I mean, Lauren, you moved a lot growing up. It's difficult when you have to go to a whole new place and start
readjusting and meeting new people and just learning a different way of life, how people do different things.
The language thing would be so hard
and
for
that
me.
might be actually easier for a child with the language thing
it would.
rather than an adult, because you know, when you're like 30 plus, it's kind of hard to learn a new language.
Can't do that as well as
but the young ones, they can
you know,
develop it.
A lot of people, when they move to this country, you're right, when they move to this country that don't speak the language, the kids are translating for the parents a lot. That happens a lot. So,
but it's still scary to think about going to a school where you can't talk to your classmates for several months until you start to pick up on that language. But I'm glad we have organizations like this that are assisting folks, because there's a lot of refugees out there and there's a lot that we can do to help.
Yeah, perfectly
it's
said
true.
right there. Yeah.
And cut.
Yep, we'll be right back.
Burlington with the 81 is the warmest spot across the Triad. 77 in Greensboro, 78 in Winston-Salem. Everyone else is so much cooler, even in Asheboro at 74. Our rapid futurecast, this is a look at over the next several hours. How will the weather be? What the white you're seeing on here are the clouds. And so as we go over the next couple of hours, we'll see more clouds build in across the area. Won't really do too much for us except for keep us on the cool side as we continue to go for your Monday afternoon. The sky will be blanketed with cloud cover as we finish our Monday, and then we'll start to get a break from some of those clouds as we start our Tuesday. We'll get to see some spots of sunshine, and some of those clouds may be able to spit out a light drizzle, but definitely not expecting for much of any rain at all through your Tuesday. It is hurricane season. We haven't had much to talk about lately, but we are continuously watching the tropics as we go throughout this hurricane season. Now, like I said earlier in our newscast, that peak of the season is in early September, September 14th specifically. And so as we approach that date, we're going to start to see some activity increase across this tropical satellite view. But as of now, there's no active systems in the tropics. Our 7 days showing you these temperatures once again, so you can plan ahead. This weekend, I don't expect for that to be a complete washout. I know a lot of folks like to look ahead to the weekend. Don't expect for it to be a washout, but it will be warmer, and we will have to look out for some isolated storm chances, especially in the afternoon on Saturday and Sunday.
Well, tomorrow is officially the start of the summer season. It's time for travel, but it's also a time to reset. So I asked you on my Facebook page, what are your summer goals? And a lot of you are talking about this. Kimira Boone says to continue to work on toning my body and working on my mental health. Desiree Patton says spending more time with my children, staying cool, taking a road trip, and working. Trisha Crowder wrote to start walking every day, which was one of my New Year's resolutions that I haven't done but once. But hey, I've done the other two I set, so at least I'm doing something. Bobby Odom wrote to take a trip to the beach before fall gets here. Joe Wilson says staying cool. There was a lot of folks that said that one. What about y'all?
Gosh, goals. Do I have to have goals all the time?
Yes.
You know, my goal would be, this is funny, it sounds silly, but it's true. My wife says I don't know how to relax. Like I can't sit still. She will forever, just this weekend we do like coffee on the back porch sometimes in the mornings. She goes, just sit still and don't talk. That's what she said. She goes, don't talk and just listen to like the birds. I was like, I can't do that.
So you guys are playing the adult version of the silent game.
Yes,
right.
I think it's really just to get me to stop talking.
You're like the fifth child, right?
That's what she calls me. Yes, that's right.
I think for me, I just want to get a little bit of a tan, honestly. Like I always joke around that my skin tone is about the color of Casper, and so I don't know. I just want
just some sun,
just a little more.
You could do
bronzing
that. Just
going
lay out
on.
by the pool.
That's
you know,
right.
Get some olive oil going. You'll be good.
I love the laid back, just to get a little tan. That's all. That's all I want.
You got this, Chad.
Thank you.
I would say mine would be the same. You know, continue going for walks, working out and stuff. Because you guys know I was going super hard at the beginning of the year. I was working out 4 or 5 days a week. But now that the sun is out, there's events happening. I want to sleep in a little more. I've kind of fallen off the wagon a little bit to the point where the people at my gym called me by a different name the other day.
What?
No.
Yes. I was like, who? They were like, so do you just like going by the name Lauren? I was like, that's my name. So I was like, clearly I have not been here in a while. And I had only missed like maybe a week.
That's a meme. That is a meme. When your people in your gym call you by a different name, it's time to go.
That might be the ploy. They might actually do that on purpose.
Maybe. I was like, so do you like going by the name Lauren? That's my name. Okay.
There's old Chip Silver over there. He's back. We'll be back.
Oh, wow.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Hey, check, check, 1, 2, 1, 2, back here in the bowels of the station.
Hi there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hello, 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 hello.
Yeah. Absolutely not. But still, you never know. Hello. No, I can't for some reason, but I can hear you in here.
Is your IV on?
Yeah. Well, it was at one point.
Hold up, wait a minute. Mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 4, 3, 2.
It's time for my 2 cents. Summer, summer, summertime. Time to sit back and unwind. The popular lyrics from DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince run through my mind as we get ready to officially start this new summer season. Summer is one of the most enjoyable times of the year. Yes, it can get a little too hot and humid sometimes, but it's a season for adventure and fun in the sun. Summer means vacations and quick getaways to visit family and friends. As a military brat, we moved around a lot, often away from relatives. I remember spending my summers in South Carolina to visit my grandparents, playing outside in the butterbean fields with my cousins, and riding on the back of my grandfather's tractor were some of my fondest memories. Summer means ice cream and cold treats. I remember hearing the ice cream truck and looking for loose change in the couch cushions so I could buy my favorite ice pop, the Tweety Bird with the bubblegum eyeballs. Summer means shorts, sandals, and maxi dresses. Besides the weather and fashions, summer is a time to reset and think about how you want the rest of your year to go. Maybe there's a goal you set at the start of the year that you haven't fully committed yourself to. Summer is a time to let go. Let go of negative thinking and focus on self-affirmation. Summer is a time to learn, not just about places and travel destinations, but to learn about yourself and the life you desire. Remember to take time to reset and self-reflect this summer. That's my 2 cents. That's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now.